The psalmist invited people, all the earth, people everywhere, to sing a new song to the Lord. Although we see today in Christian contemporary music them singing a new song to the Lord, we are told in Psalm 96 that we are to announce his salvation and his deed, which would solely bring God glory. I want us to reflect on the songs and the lyrics that are sung in our churches today. Do they announce his salvation and his good deeds? And ultimately, do the lyrics bring God glory? Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord, all the earth. Sing to the Lord. Bless his name. Proclaim good tidings of his salvation from day to day. Tell of his glory among the nations, his wonderful deeds among all the peoples. For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. Worship the Lord in holy attire. Tremble before him, all the earth. Let the heavens be glad and let the earth rejoice. Let the sea roar and all it contains. Let the field exult and all that is in it. Then all the trees of the forest will sing for joy before the Lord. For he is coming to judge the earth. He will judge the world in righteousness and the peoples in his faithfulness. All right, so hello everyone. So this week here on this week's RLE, we're going to be diving into a couple of videos. I won't be playing the one from Ann Wilson in its entirety. I just want to kind of hear you guys hear her testimony and let me know what you think. Because again, that word encounter, I think is the new buzz term for not really true salvation. Everyone uses it. And so anyway, again, let me know your thoughts. Rate this one below. I want to play this one from Ann Wilson because I just, my heart breaks, if I could be honest with you guys, because when do we truly understand who Jesus is? Without the buzz terms, without the clickbait. Here we go. I'm not going to play the entire interview either, but here we go.
Do we have some cute baby pictures?
We probably got some news, yes. I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky, which was amazing. I grew up right outside the city. From a young age, I had a love for Jesus, just I think from being raised in that environment. But then when I was in 7th grade, I had kind of my first encounter with the Lord for the first time.
I don't know what that means. And she doesn't really even explain it. So in the 7th grade, she was raised in church, your typical, spiel. So she's raised in church, and then in the 7th grade, she had an encounter.
Kind of my first encounter with the Lord for the first time. It was the moment that my parents' faith kind of became my own. And it wasn't just going to church because they wanted me to, but it was because I wanted to be there and have that relationship. So it was my first day of 7th grade school year, and we had a new Bible teacher come to our school. He comes in and he just started weeping over the name of Jesus. Like he couldn't say his name without weeping. And I remember just having this moment of realizing that I could actually have a relationship with Jesus. Mm-hmm. I used to think my whole life that God would just sit up on his throne in heaven and look down and just judge all of us and have, all this judgment towards us. And when I realized that was so far from the truth, that's when everything changed for me. And that's when I realized that I can have a personal relationship with the God of the universe. And that's such an honor, that's such a beautiful thing. And
okay, so on the surface, what she said is actually true, right? That we have that relationship with God. But also what she's failing to mention is the simple fact that God will judge. He is a judge. God is wrathful. Everyone just wants to love God in a bucket, but they don't ever want the other God that's clearly evident in the Bible. So again, I'm not hearing where she was recognizing that she was a sinner. Nowhere.
So I went home that day from school and I decided to give my life to Jesus. And that was really when everything started for me, was committing my life to him in seventh grade. And I was kind of walking down a bad path prior to that. And then God.
I was walking down a bad path prior to the seventh grade. Girl, what the heck were you doing? Having your Barbies do things that your parents probably already knew that you were doing? How bad could your path be from birth until sixth grade?
Started going down a path towards him. So it was really beautiful.
You had an experience with this teacher that
really changed
showed
me.
you something.
It showed me a passion for Jesus I'd never seen anyone have before.
That just doesn't make any sense. Your teacher showed you because they were weeping? We continue.
And it was really special. I saw my brother the day before then, went to bed that night. Everything was just great in my life, you know, having a fun summer. And they just all looked very sad and just very down. And he looked up at me with tears in his eyes and he said, "Yeah, Ian, Jacob's dead." And I'll never forget that moment. I'll never forget the pain and kind of the shock factor of that. And if you've anyone, you know, listening, if you've lost someone, you know how that feels. It's almost like this immediate shock. Like you can't even feel anything. You're numb all over. It's denial. How is this true? How is this happening? And that was my very first thought. It was just so sad and awful. But right after that, I remember hearing the voice of God speak to me very clearly.
I'm going to rewind this. So again, she's on this show to give her testimony.
It's just so sad and awful. But right after that, I remember hearing the voice of God speak to me very clearly. And he said, "Anne, are you going to trust me or are you not?" And when I heard his voice, I remember thinking to myself, like, I have to make a decision right now in this moment. Am I going to trust God or am I going to lean on my own understanding to get through this whole journey? So I turned around, like right after my dad had just told me he passed away. I faced the doors in that room and I said to Jesus, "Jesus, I trust you." And in that moment, it was so crazy. Like this big weight just lifted off of my shoulders that I had been carrying. And I felt this peace. Like I knew that I was going to be able to get through this tragedy, that God was going to give me what I needed to push through. And even though I just found out that my brother had passed away, I had this peace that was just passing understanding. And it was so amazing. I'll never forget that feeling. So in the days, you know, after that, we were grieving as a family and processing it and wanted to really make the funeral the best celebration of life. This was our last time to get to celebrate Jacob and as his, you know, just celebrating his life. And so we, like I said earlier, we have singers in our family, and my mom and dad had called every cousin, every aunt, every uncle. No one was willing to sing at the funeral. And my mom and dad were downstairs about 4 days after my brother passed away. They were praying together, and my dad prayed with my mom, and he said, "God, if it's not your will for someone to sing at the funeral, then would you just take that desire out of her heart so that we can get through this, you know, season?" And right after they prayed that, I was upstairs in my room, had no clue they were praying. I come downstairs and I start playing at the piano and singing. Didn't think anyone could hear me. So my mom comes running in the room after I finished and she was just weeping. And
okay, so I don't mean to be that person, guys, but you're playing a piano in a house. Who's not going to hear you? I mean, you're not sitting at the piano going, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch." Ding, 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 ding. Everything that people say within the Christian community today, when it comes to, they're so secular to me, I just don't buy anything that they say. I am completely on the opposite side. I will totally not believe you at all. But I find this very ironic. And now we're going to hear how Ann Wilson was birthed. Because no one heard you in the home, sweetie, playing on your piano. Come on, guys.
She was like, Ann, we had no idea that you sang. Like, what in the world are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, Mom, I don't know what this is. I'm just worshiping God, and really just this kind of like worshiping was almost like my medication in a sense. It was what gave me peace and comfort. And
I hope you guys caught that. I'm going to rewind that. Again, are we about Jesus, or are we about the experience? Are we about Jesus, or are we about worship? Are we about Jesus, or are we about ourselves? Are we about Jesus, or are we about encounters?
Worshiping was almost like my medication in a sense. It was what gave me peace and comfort. And so she ends up asking me if I would be willing to sing at the funeral for.
And if you hear people long enough, she just said that she would trust the Lord, and therefore she had peace that surpassed all understanding. But now she's saying worship actually gave her that. So was it Jesus, or was it worship that gave you the peace that you needed, Ann?
My brother. And I prayed about it, and I felt like that was what God wanted me to do. So I got some friends together who played guitar and violin, and I played piano. We got together and we sang at the funeral for the first time. That was the first time I'd sang in front of anyone. And got up on that stage. I was so nervous, but mostly I was just so devastated.
Yeah.
And I remember having a moment where I was sitting on the stage and I was looking at all of these people. There were 1,200 people there. Normally our church, I think it only fit like 800. So people were just like standing all around in the back in the lobby. And so many people came to celebrate his life. And I just was looking at all these people, and then I was looking at the casket, and I was just so sad. And I remember hearing God's voice again right before I started playing the piano. And he said to me, word for word, and this is what I'm calling you to do. I'm calling you to praise and worship my name.
Okay, that's not what we're called to do, though, guys. Nowhere in the Bible is that our commission. And now, is it a good thing to praise and worship God? Absolutely. But that's in your own time with the Lord. God is calling us to seek those who are lost. That is what we are called to do. Sorry again. I know this is supposed to be a testimony. I'm still getting to the kicker where her faith was genuine.
And so I remember all these nerves just completely left my body, and I was like, this is literally what I've been created to do, is worship God. And
Again, she contradicts herself. Before then, she said she was at the piano singing and she was nervous. But then I thought God spoke to her before she sang. All you got to do is listen to people.
I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I knew this is what I was going to do from this moment on. So I sang the song. It was the most beautiful, 4 minutes of worship ever. It was just pouring my heart out to God, and left the funeral that day, obviously thinking about Jacob, but actually what was in my mind was God just called me to music.
Yes.
Like, this is the moment that I've been created for. This is the moment that God is showing me, like, this is what I've created you to do.
Okay, so I'm going to put myself in this story only because when I was 14 years old, my dad passed away. At 14 years old, I sang at his funeral. Always knew there was a call on my life before then, right? When I left that church, I was still grieving the loss of my father. I never once turned that around me and said, "Oh, Lord, yes, you've called me." No, I was grieving for the loss of my parent. Narcissism is all I can hear when she says that. If that statement doesn't bother you, you might want to rewind it. Because for me, who lost a parent, that statement she just said vexes me. And I will be very kind and I won't say anything to Blondie over here.
Left the funeral that day, obviously thinking about Jacob, but actually what was in my mind was...
She was going to say the forefront. So let's not mince your words here. And you're probably going to say, I was thinking about Jacob, but since I performed so well, at the forefront of my mind was me, and me. Really, that's really what she wants to say.
left the funeral that day, obviously thinking about Jacob, but actually what was in my mind was God just called me to music. Like, this is the moment that I've been created for. This is the moment that God is showing me, like, this is what I've created you to do, called you to do. And it was a really beautiful moment. I think obviously all of us like want to do what we feel called to do, or want to do what we're made to do. And it's hard sometimes to figure that out. Like, what are we made to do? What are we called to do? And that was the moment that I knew every other desire of anything I ever wanted to do in the past was now gone. And I had to do music for God and glorify him and worship him. So we ended up making a video of that song, What a Beautiful Name, and we posted it to YouTube in the fall of 2017. We wanted to dedicate it to Jacob and have something to look back on, and did not think anything about it, was not trying to get any looks from Nashville or anyone in the industry. And within a month it went viral, and all these people from Nashville started reaching out, and it was just crazy.
So why would people from Nashville reach out? And yes, let's be real. And if I'm wrong, then Lord forgive me. But yes, that's exactly why you did what you did, because you wanted to get clicks and likes. We live in a self-centered, narcissistic, me generation. Of course she wanted clicks and likes. Of course you did, Anne. And then literally in a month from then, the devil granted you your wish, and secular industry came in and said,
yeah, we'll take that girl there, put her on the Christian label, and we'll brand her and create her. She'll be like Lauren Daigle 2.0. Okay, Nashville? Okay.
what a beautiful name. How about we'll move on to our next one. So the reason I want to play this video like super quick is because I didn't catch it when I played it briefly in the beginning. So what I want you guys to recognize is when Lauren Daigle pulls up in her Jeep, she stops and gets some snow cones. So my first instinct with the guy sitting on the little bench thing that she brought the snow cone to, my gaydar went off. I was like, is that guy gay? But what didn't dawn on me until I was watching this on for something else, notice the colors of the snow cone. And at first she's going to give the guy her snow cone, but then in turn gives him the rainbow colored snow cone. Found it to be fascinating. That's just me though. How ironic. We'll let this play. So here, see the two snow cones. You've got the pink one, and then you've got the rainbow colored. She's high-fiving everyone after playing some hopscotch. Here we go. Now she starts to sing. People out there, let go of your cares. Okay, so again, when I first saw this video, I thought the guy appeared to be gay. He was very feminine for a dude. That's all I have to say. So notice now she's trying to hand him the pink one, but instead notice the one that he actually gets. Wow. Yeah, this is what we came for. Yes, sweetie, I love you, Lauren. I know that you accept us, Lauren. Thank you for my snow cone. What? Oh, Levi. Come on, guys. Come on, y'all. I know I'm not the only one. Come on. No. Yeah, this is ready to hand him that pink one? Nope, I'll take the one that's dressed like a rainbow, Lauren. Thank you, boo. This is what we came for. Okay. Now, let's do the last one, shall we? Okay, so the reason I want to play this one, not just because I know where Douglasville, Georgia is, but this has to do with, well, the witch herself, Lauren. So again, the premise of this week's RLE is very simple. What Jesus are these people serving? Because the Jesus I serve is not popular. He's just not, y'all. Not in any way, shape, or form. I don't see people knocking on my door, busting it down, trying to hang out with me and my Jesus. It's just not happening. So here we go.
When I was 18, I had a band and we were singing at all different types of bars and venues. I didn't like performing at bars because I felt like I had to act like someone I wasn't just so that people would like what they were hearing. There was one show I had one night and my papa was there. He pulled me to the side and said, "What are you doing, baby? This isn't what you're supposed to do." He looked at me dead in the eye. He said, "Well, how can you sing for God and sing for this?" And then I finally decided to totally switch to Christian music.
Okay, so sounds good. I will definitely say thumbs up to this young lady because you cannot, right? You cannot serve two masters. So I appreciate her papa saying that. So I agree. So far, so good. Thumbs up.
No, God, honey. It's okay. He's still supporting me out there.
Do it for him today, baby.
Yes, ma'am.
And again, I always tread lightly here, and I'm sorry if I step on anyone's toes this week, but you know I can speak because my dad is gone as well. They're not in heaven looking down on us. They're just not, guys. And I know that sometimes we say that because it makes us feel better, or it may help some people process. But I'm excited that my dad's in heaven. I'm excited that I get to see Lenny soon. But I know that my dad hasn't been looking down on me since 1987. He just hasn't. And it's just a misnomer, you know, angels, they're not created. Ain't nobody dying, getting wings. And I know it's tough to hear that. And it's tough. It's tough to hear that. And I get it. And I'm sorry if I upset you, but that is just the fact of the matter. That's what it is. Once they're gone, they are not looking down on us. That is a mystical, religious way of thinking and not biblical truth. Show me one verse in the Bible where it says our loved ones are looking down on us. Just one, and I'll stand corrected. I promise you, I will stand corrected.
Yeah.
Well, hello. So unfortunately, this part of the video, if you go to Rumble, looks normal. Unfortunately, YouTube, doing YouTube shenanigans, did not allow the rest of what I wanted to show you to air. So if you don't mind, if this section, I find it very relevant, but unfortunately I had to tweak the editing post and make it kind of work with YouTube. So if you want to see what I have edited out, feel free to head over to the Rumble channel, Life Clips, one word, Life Clips _podcast. Subscribe, watch the content over there. If you don't care, hopefully this will work. But anyway, with that being said, as always, please just subscribe to Rumble because things like this are going to continue to happen. So I have edited this to kind of make it fit. Hopefully it'll work and it'll flow. But anyway, without further ado, the edited version.
It's gonna be there with you.
I know.
What was his name?
My grandpa's name is Chuck Page.
Oh, Chuck Page. What a great name. All right, well, what are you going to share with us today?
I'm going to sing You Say by Lauren Daigle.
Yay!
Okay, I got a surprise.
Okay, so Katy Perry, yay, Lauren Daigle. I don't know if they were to be like, yeah, I'm singing a song from Kim Duarte. No, sorry, that wasn't on the list or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have popularity. If Katy Perry is like, yay for Lauren Daigle, and you're going to see what's going to happen here. That's why I'm playing it this week. It's crazy. This isn't the Jesus, because If she served the right Jesus, they wouldn't be idolizing her like they are, especially that little girl and the mama.
So, Lauren Daigle had a show here in Las Vegas last night. Right now, turn around.
Oh my God. She does, honey. She loves you.
It's like a full circle moment. It's a full circle moment.
Again, only someone who has New Age talks like that. I don't know why, but Lauren Daigle really bothers me, y'all. She really does. There is something so New Age mystical about her, and it just baffles me that there's Christians who don't see it and continue to support her.
It's like a full circle moment. It's a full circle moment.
All right, so I promise you I am not doing some magic trick with my mouth not moving. This is on post after it was already published on YouTube, and I had to make some tweaks. So this coming up now, the reason I wanted to show this particular American Idol was because, again, Jesus was very clear that the world will hate us because it hated him first. He didn't say dislike a little, might not really want to be your friend. That word hate is extremely strong. So here we can see a row, Lionel, Katie, Luke, of unbelievers embracing a supposed believer. And then, of course, the singer, and they all fall in love and they have their own little kumbaya moment. But again, very strange. The interaction is just strange. Lauren Daigle is a professing Christian, and yet the world accepts her. Watch their reaction. Watch the judges' reactions when this girl, boom, Luke, takes the scene. The contestant, like, oh my gosh. Katy Perry, oh my gosh. Lionel, I think, looked a little confused. But, okay.
What you say of me, probably.
Katy Perry, what is she trying to cry? Again, the excitement for a Christian artist baffles me. Baffles the bananas out of me. Makes zero sense.
I heard an echo. I was like, is there an angel singing somewhere with her?
The story reminds me of my own.
So that made zero sense. So your story, what story? That you became a singer? To me, if someone's story reminds them of their story and they're calling themselves a believer, would Jesus not ever come into the picture? I mean, that's, again, my whole point with all of this New Age Christianity is, where's the excitement? Where's the love for Jesus where he is solely first?
So beautifully. All right, let's do the chorus. I want to feel the spirit.
Katy Perry just summed it up for everyone right there. That's exactly what this is. It's a feel-good, New Age, kumbaya, what God, right? That could just be their source. It's not the God of the Bible. Here we go. So let Katy Perry tell you exactly what's happening in this music.
Thank you, God.
All right, let's do the chorus. I want to feel the spirit. Feel the spirit. Feel the spirit. Feel the spirit. Feel the spirit.
Everything that Lauren puts out is a me-centered, make yourself feel better song. You would never know the difference, and we're going to get to that in the weeks to come with her completely, what I feel is 100% New Age album. She has a song called Kaleidoscope Jesus. Yeah, we'll get into her songs on this new album. None of them, not one, is biblical. Not one.
I just gotta say, Lauren, that is one of the coolest things I've ever seen an artist do.
And please notice, that is what these supposed singers in the Christian music industry, that's how they always see themselves, as an artist. And yes, is it artistry to sing or to play music? Absolutely. But I never, ever, ever hear the true God, Jesus, getting the glory. Ever. And that's all Lauren is. She's an artist. She's like a pig wearing lipstick. She might look real pretty trying to dress that up, but deep down, well, I don't know.
The Chucks are upstairs. Name Chuck?
Yes.
That was my grandfather's name. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Well, you know God has a sense of humor every once in a while.
The Chucks are upstairs having a good time. Chucks are upstairs having a good time. Chucks are upstairs having a good time. Chucks are upstairs having a good time.
There you go.
Yeah.
They're chuckling for sure.
I don't know. Again, is it me? Do I overanalyze? Do I overthink? Do I become too critical? Maybe if we all did this years and years and years ago, as I've said time and time again, we would not be where we are now. Until next time, bye.